now listening to the Cowboy From Hell podcast.
Before we start this episode, I want to thank everybody that was part of Quarantine Confessions, our Instagram live show during the lockdown quarantine. I have a list of people here. I hope that I don't forget anyone. I want to thank Pamela at Pam Going Ham on Instagram. I want to thank Taylor Crabb, a beach volleyball player. I want to thank hockey player Derek Forbert, Lil Nikki K, our favorite reporter. I want to thank Kelly Johnson, former Miss California. I want to thank former hockey player Teddy Purcell. Easton James at Clownin808 on Instagram. I want to thank Matt Smith, the founder of Butt Snorkeler. I want to thank Chris Reams, the founder of Slunks. I want to thank Kelsey Robinson, USA Volleyball. I want to thank Tyler Gugliotta, the chef at Barron's 2239 in Hermosa Beach. I want to thank Alex Curry, probably the best reporting resume of any sportscaster I know. I want to thank NBA legend Richard Jefferson. I want to thank Chris Geeter McGee, one of my favorite people, our most liked episode, our most viewed episode. I want to thank Matt Petch, the @Operational Athlete on Instagram, and my two co-hosts during the quarantine, Lotto Salazar and Stephen Amakwa. Thank you guys. Thank you for supporting Quarantine Confessions. Enjoy the show. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cowboy From Hell podcast. I'm your host, Landen Tusieneina, and today we're going to be covering, this is our first episode. Let's not pretend like it's not. We're going to be covering a lot of different things. It's 2020. In America, there's a lot of polarizing subjects, and I don't want to take a stand on either side. I'm probably going to end up, it's probably not going to be a secret where my views lie. But I'm here to provide funny commentary on things that are happening around our world. Every single episode, I'm going to be giving us a good morning of current events. Then from current events, I'm going to have a daily focus. Daily focus is going to be a subject that I choose off of a long list that I make every single day of things that need to be addressed, that bug me, and that are just funny. Then I'm going to close it out. We may have guests. I have a lot of friends that reach out. We did Quarantine Confessions during the lockdown, and that was really fun. I got to interview a bunch of people. Quarantine Confessions started out with us getting really hammered and going live with close friends. It was very inappropriate, and some things were said that I had to delete. And then I started having guests on that were much more professional. I started getting guests that would send me memos of things I can't talk about or can talk about. And people said the show got a little soft, which it did, but that's really the only way that you can have people with certain types of notoriety on your show is if you steer clear of certain subjects. So I had no problem with that. But when it's just me, I also have no problem with getting down and dirty. The two most polarizing subjects right now in our world, I think, are Black Lives Matter and racism and COVID-19. Two very important issues that have been affecting every single person in America, whether they want to admit it or not. I'm not here to tell you how to think or how to feel with a lot of these different things. I just, again, want to make commentary on some things I find funny. The other day, me and my best friend are he's a huge black guy, and I'm obviously a huge brown guy. We drive into a coffee bean to get some coffee in the morning, and our person comes on the microphone, and we thought it was a girl at first, and she says, "Please make sure you're wearing your mask when you drive up to the window." That's some goofy ass shit, and we laughed about it, and I posted on Facebook how silly it was. But when we pulled up to the window, it was not a girl, it was a guy. It was a gay guy, and he was not happy that we weren't wearing our masks. But the George Floyd thing had just happened, and again, my guy driving is a black guy. So we had this very hilarious standoff between a gay white guy and a huge black guy right when George Floyd happened during Pride Month, and they're sitting there wondering if they should make a big deal out of wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. It was absolutely hilarious, and I had to post on Facebook about it because that's the world we live in right now. The word polarizing is perfect, I think. Everyone is looking at each other. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? And it's very confusing. I was in New York a couple years ago, and I'm walking down the Times Square while they're having the Trump rallies or the anti-Trump rallies. And there's a big group of women and men, and everyone's yelling, "Pussy grabs back, pussy grabs back," which is, I'm supposed to highlight something Donald Trump said that was a very colorful statement, but they're yelling that, and I'm walking through the crowd, and they're walking this way, and I'm trying to go through the crowd this way, And I saw in a woman's eyes, this very tiny white lady looks up at me and she's yelling, "Pussy grabs back." And my skin color is very dark, especially for New York City in the fall. So I'm walking around and she looks up at me and sees this huge man. And I could see in her eyes, she was like, well, he's a man, so he might attack me, but he's a minority, so I kind of feel bad for him. So I really didn't know. I didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do. And again, this is the way our world is right now. So I don't want to take sides. I just want to bring up some funny things. Focusing back on Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. I don't take either side. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to share that here because it's really not that important. What I am going to share is some things that are just absolutely egregious that I'm seeing online right now. So a friend of mine, she's half Asian, half white. She posts on Instagram, "Stop the fetishization of biracial children." So she took it upon herself to post this warning. Biracial children are not accessories. You're being ignorant, racist, and selfish by fetishizing them. This is the funniest shit. This is some goofy ass shit. You mean to tell me there's a black guy that gets wrongfully killed by a police officer, and there's marches going around the world where people are trying to fight for their rights to defend themselves against police. People are bringing up the important issue of police brutality, especially against black people, and racism. And you are sitting there, and if I could steal a line from, I think it was Anthony Jeselnik going, "Don't forget about me, don't forget about me." She wanted to go so far as to post this stupid post, and it's got so many likes, and it's about the fetishization of of biracial children. And so the definition is an unsettling stereotype whereby children of a certain dual heritage are deemed more desirable based on their characteristics and complexion. And so you swipe on the post and it shows these comments by white ladies, and it's these beautiful kids that are probably half black, half Asian, maybe half Polynesian, or Asian. I think Asian babies are the cutest, and they have these pictures of them. And you have comments by white ladies going, "Oh, I want a kid that looks like that," or in quotes, "I'd love to marry a black guy to have cute babies." This girl's so upset about that, and she wants to sit there and make this post. And so I responded to her, myself being a biracial baby, "Please don't stop people fetishizing us. I want everyone to fetishize us. Do you know how many chicks I've laid just because they see a big brown guy with green eyes? This is insane. Please don't stop this. This is the kind of racism that I support. If that's racist, I'm so fucking racist, it's insane." A little bit about myself. I'm half Samoan. My dad is from a tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific. My grandparents didn't speak English very well on my dad's side. My mom is half white, half Mexican. Her dad bounced when she was like 4 years old, so she got raised by a badass white lady in the valley. None of my cousins, are full white, especially on my dad's side. We are all mixed up, and the deeper you get, the even more mixed some of these kids get. Mixed race people in this country are in a very unique situation because I didn't have any. The Polynesians, we really don't struggle that much. We came to this country recently, a lot of first generation people here in 2020, and it's been great. We got picked up by every college NFL team, and The Rock is already famous, and he's going to run for president. Jason Momoa is making waves. He had like the best Super Bowl commercial, but things have been pretty fucking awesome for Polynesians. And I mean, even on my other side, I think being half white, half Mexican, being Samoan, being whatever I am, I have a very unique perspective, and I don't feel like I've come across any type of disenfranchisement whatsoever. Again, if anything, what this girl's claiming to be a fetishization of biracial people, I mean, the worst racism I encounter is old white guys saying, "Hey, brother, where are you from?" And whenever someone asks me where I'm from, I always think of when gangsters say, "Yo, where you from, dog?" So I want to just be like, "Yo, what's up, Crip?" But I don't say that. What I do say is I'm from I'm half Polynesian, a quarter Mexican, a quarter white, and that seems to solve the conversation right there. If you think that's racism, I guess I'm a victim of some serious racism. I'm so tired of these people asking me, where am I from? Where am I from? Get the fuck out of here, dude. We use that word racism way too much. And again, I don't want to take sides, but I do want people to remember the term race baiting means we try to throw racism into a conversation to redirect the conversation or to distract from what the conversation's actually about. When I hear the term race baiting, I think it's derived from the term masturbating, as in it feels so good in 2020 to be a victim of perceived racism that you're almost feeling the same amount of pleasure as when you masturbate. So if someone talks about racism, race baiting, that's what I think of. Moving forward, that is my funny take on racism in 2020. I mean, obviously it's real. Obviously, a lot of people are experiencing it, and I hope we are moving forward in a good direction. But I think we are. I really think we are, and I think the solution to all problems racial is fucking. I think if we can all fuck each other, different types, different colors, this place is going to be beautiful. Imagine if everyone looked like me. Oh my God, this place would be, there'd be gorgeous people walking around all over the place. And if my producer's doing his part, he's a white guy fucking a Hawaiian girl, and it's beautiful. And every single night, that's the fight against racism. Every single time you penetrate someone that is not your race, you are doing your part in this country to make it a better place. Okay, moving on to the second polarizing subject in our society, COVID-19. And you know, COVID-19, the coronavirus, the pandemic, again, I'm not going to take a side. The part of this subject that is just so hard to accept, the part of this subject that's getting to me is how it's been politicized. We have this issue, we see this virus pop up, wherever it popped up, it starts to spread like wildfire. People in Italy are dying. It gets to New York and people are dying. Everyone's suffering. And somehow, someone takes it upon themselves to go, this is definitely a red and blue issue. This is a Democrat versus Republican issue. How the fuck did a virus become a political issue? And I'll tell you how it became that issue. It became that issue because somewhere down the line in this country, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories about this, the two-party system was created. Now I need to take a side from every single issue. Before the issue is even presented, I have to take a side. And this is what's blowing my mind right now. For example, if I believe in a conservative policies and I want to limit government in my life, that means somehow I have to now be anti-abortion. How does that make any sense at all? If I believe in gay marriage, now I have to be anti-gun rights? It doesn't make any sense. And this two-party system is killing us to a point where a virus pops up and somehow we're taking sides against each other. Somehow Republicans don't want to wear masks and Democrats do. Someone somewhere, which kind of makes some sense, said, these Democrats are trying to crash our economy so that when Trump gets up for re-election in November, the economy is destroyed, he looks bad and loses the election. I have news for all my friends out there and family. These politicians don't give a shit about any of us, and it's so insane to me to see someone post something online and go, vote for this guy because he cares about us. He does not care about you. Our political system is funded by big corporations that are contributing to these people's, donating to these people's campaign funds, and those are who's in control of what they say and do. I just posted a video of Barack Obama and Joe Biden saying we do not support gay marriage, we do not want to redefine marriage, and then another video of Trump saying, yeah, for sure, if that's what guys want to do, that's what guys want to do. I'm not into it, but if they want to do that, I fully support gay marriage. And now I have friends and family that are posting, Trump is racist, we need Obama. Dude, who gives a shit? None of these guys care about you. And it's as stupid as it is to hate a politician, it's just as stupid to love one. They are constantly changing their agendas, and we're not going to get anywhere as long as this two-party system exists, as long as corporations can make these huge donations. I mean, we heard how much money Hillary got for those speeches. We know how much Mitt Romney made money. He made money after running for president. Somehow, how does that make any sense to anybody? It doesn't make sense. So the only reason I bring this up is to try to tailor your passions when it comes to politics, to try to look at the facts. My dad is so far right Republican, he can't even see straight. When Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman, I asked my dad, how do you feel about this? And he goes, well, and he tried his hardest to try to justify what Zimmerman did. And I'm like, Dad, imagine if your sons look like some of my brothers look like they're black guys. Other of them look like they're Middle Eastern guys. I'm like, dude, Dad, imagine if that kid that got shot was your son. Would you really look there and go, well, maybe he shouldn't have been arguing with the guy? No, you wouldn't. You'd be pissed. But with the two-party system and the way it is, everybody wants to take a side so bad and they want to belong. It's the same reason why inner city kids find themselves in gangs often, because they want to belong to something. If you don't have something to belong to, you will jump at the chance to be a member of a fucking ultimate frisbee group at the beach. It takes up your whole life. And we can see it when people get really passionate about their hobbies, and we see it when people get really passionate about something new. How can you find so much passion in something that you aren't even sure you're into yet? And the reason is because people want to belong so badly. And I can't fault people for that, because I want to belong too. I love belonging to the groups I belong to, and a lot of my friends and family know the fucking ridiculous groups I belong to, like the Savages down at 21st Street. I am not a learned doctor. I am definitely not someone you should look to for life advice, but there's a lot of things we can point out in this world that are fucking stupid and fucking hilarious, and I hope we can find humor in these shitty times. And that's what the Cowboy From Hell podcast is all about. I took Cowboy From Hell. It's one of my favorite songs by Pantera. It's a metal song. And, I really love country music. I wouldn't call myself a musician. I'm an entertainer. I play for money at these bars around this little beach town I live at. And it's so funny to me when people are so surprised that I like country music. But what people don't realize is that Hawaiian music, Polynesian music, it started out as folk music. A lot of old Hawaiian bands, and some I guess the lead singer of Kapena is probably Samoan guy. These bands started out playing country music covers. So Dolly Parton, Tender Lie, was covered by Kapena in one of their biggest albums. So I love country music. I grew up playing country music, listening to it with my dad. And so whenever I try to not put myself out there, but if I express my love for country music, people are always like, well, you grew up on the beach in LA. You're a surfer. How can you like country music? I like country music because I like what the cowboy represents. And here are my closing remarks. The cowboy represents a nomad, represents somebody on a horse riding into the sunset. Willie Nelson said a lot of people don't understand him, and that's fine with the cowboy. He doesn't want them to. Cowboys represent being alone in this world and being okay with it. And so the Cowboy From Hell, I love that Pantera made a metal song talking about cowboys that are from hell. Cowboys, they're like, we walk into the bar and no one wants to look at us. That you can have that cowboy mentality in any walk of life, even in a metal song. And so the Cowboy From Hell podcast celebrates that cowboy mentality and hopefully provides some funny commentary on the world around us and these polarizing subjects that we deal with every single day. Be sure to follow on Instagram. I'm not sure if we're going to put this on YouTube. Our first guest should be in a couple weeks. I want to make sure when I did that Quarantine Confessions podcast or live show on Instagram, I found myself having to carry conversations, especially when I had to stay away from certain subjects, and it just wasn't even that fun for anyone to listen to. So if people come on this show, we are not going to avoid certain subjects. We're going to dive as deep in as we can. Hashtag balls deep. If you're going to come on this show, I want you to be prepared to discuss 3 topics. We might not always get to these 3 topics, but I want you to be prepared to discuss them. 1, your most awkward sexual experience, because what is funnier than how stupid we were when we were first exploring our bodies and sexuality? I remember the first time I ever went down on a girl, I was 17 years old. We're in the back of her Jetta. She was the prom queen. Don't check what year I graduated from Redonda. But I get back there and I remember I was so excited taking off her underwear, and I finally saw a vagina in real life. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And I remember licking and kissing her pubic area. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is spiky. I don't even think I made my way to the vagina. So when you get on this show, I want you to be ready. And we're going to be covering love. We're going to be covering sexuality, all these topics. I wanted to get this out of the way. I wanted to tell you a little about myself on this first episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you continue to follow and listen and tell your friends about it, because I'm going to get better at this. And my producer's a professional. He can't get any better. I can get better. I'm going to get better. And I have so many subjects I want to cover, and I want to have a good time. And hopefully this is something every week you can listen to and think, okay, I'm just going to turn off the seriousness for a little bit, and I'm going to have a little bit of fun. Going to get a little silly, going to get a little weird. So please join me here on the Cowboy From Hell podcast. Thank you, Jason Crane, our producer. Thank you guys for joining us. Good night and good morning. All right.